I don't think that we have anything negative today. I don't think we have anything negative today. We're going to get into this, and if I have something negative, you can red card me. Welcome to another edition of XFeed. What's up? My name is Schiller. We talk about crypto, NFTs, Web3, all that fun jazz in an age where that is becoming the norm, if you will. So let's get into it. We've seen everything around pudgy penguins, right? And everybody PFPing them. But in the NBA, there's this thing where everybody's doing like these paint drawings to create their logos. And I'm absolutely in love with it. I think it's hilarious. And then also on the pudgy penguin craze, we have Popeyes. Yes, like the official Popeyes brand doing a pudgy penguin avatar. Kind of funny. A rant. Tipping culture is out of control. I'm a generous tipper, but 20% for someone to make eye contact and hand me a muffin is crazy. Restaurants wildly suggesting people tip 30% now is cuckoo bananas. At this rate, we'll soon be tipping the price of the meal. Make it stop. Now, we are all going to have different opinions on that, whether you work in the industry or not, but I think, obviously, when you've gone through a drive-thru at some point and then they're offering that while you're trying to be quick with things, it's like, oh, that feels like a little bit weird, or at least it's not the norm compared to what was the case. And so I would make the argument, and this is maybe a little bit far-fetched, I don't even think it's far-fetched, is that things are happening that are pissing people off so much that I think certain AI acceptance is going to change. Do you remember when we had cashiers, and then it turned into the self-checkout, and then there was like this movement against, I'm going to wait in line for people, and now everyone just uses self-checkouts? Something to ponder here as we continue along here. Yo, Steve Borg, good morning, How are we? Check this out. Unbelievable headline. This is going to lead the digital revolution. So there was a report that came out where a person named Brett Lemieux confessed to what could be one of the largest sports memorabilia frauds we've seen. He outlined a decade-long operation that allegedly produced and sold millions of fake autographs, holograms, and authentication stickers for stars like Tom Brady, Kobe Bryant, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Judge. He claims his team hacked into major memorabilia company databases, distributing forged items undetected for years. The Post also alleges a recent law enforcement raid led to a seizure of over $500 million in counterfeit merchandise via multiple semi-trucks. Authorities have confirmed a deceased individual was found at the scene. The investigation remains ongoing. Oh, holy crap. And let's take for a minute and assume all of the story is true. I remember back in the day, we were in like Florida, and if you know the Chicago Bulls or the NBA, back in the day, well, not really the day, but a while ago, there was a player named Joakim Noah, and he was my favorite player in the NBA. And we were at some mall in like Tampa Bay, and it was a sports memorabilia store, and he played for the Florida Gators. And I wasn't very like educated on the college side of things or anything at that point, but it was like a signed jersey by him. And I remember being like, damn, I really want that. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, how the hell can you prove like it's authentic? And then, you ask the question, and you're like, oh, it's got like this badge or this certificate. And you're like, well, okay, but like, what if that certificate's forged? Or you know what I mean? Like, you go down this list of how can you tell if things are authentic or if they're fake? And this is a weird way where if things are natively digital, and sure, maybe it's missing a physical component or finding the right way to like connect it to, but like stories like this, I mean, how many more situations come out that are similar to this that could have like massive ramifications to the industry of anything that's like a physical collectible. Trump set to open U.S. retirement market to crypto investments. Holy shiitake mushrooms. We also got more things coming out of the state's government. Check this out.
Blockchain technology, Web3, will transform every single industry in the same way that the internet has transformed every single industry over the last 30 years. Blockchain technology.
What's funny to me is like a lot of people don't get this. We've been covering this for like 4 years now and doing live streams for like 2 of it. Well, maybe 3, 4. There was like a gap in the middle. I didn't really do content. Market was really rough for a while. But there's so many people that aren't even like remotely paying attention to what's going on. And I feel like sometimes maybe I'm not doing the right like education of like looking at certain protocols and whatnot, but it's just kind of, the attempt at getting people aware of things are happening. So Tom Lee, who's a massive person, CIO of Fund Strat Capital, 416,000 followers, CNBC contributor, chairman of Bitman, MNR. What the hell is BitMNR? Is that an exchange? BitMNR, Immersive Technologies. No, it's not. Get ETH pilled. Okay, something to do with crypto. Pudgy Toys are now available in Don Quijote, the largest convenience store in all of Japan. Big headlines, things happening, as per usual. 7,000 .eth. The Ethereum name service, the handle. You know, if you're watching here on Twitch, we got Von Schiller. If you're on X, it's Schillerverse. Somebody wants to have the Ethereum name of 7,000 .eth. For history's sake, there's clubs of like the 3-digit club. There is a list of Pokemon names that people are after. I'm going to assume there's a sports one as well, but there's basic names, and then there's like certain clubs for various ones. And so the 4-digit club, 10,000 bucks. Holy smokes. Now look at this. Listen, we haven't talked about Silo in quite a minute. We've had videos with it. We got Ben Jordan on a while ago if you want to go check out that interview if you're on YouTube. But we got something going on with HTX, and they're like advertising the global site. So this is my reaction to that. Holy suffering succotash. But this is actually a clip back from when I interviewed Ben Jordan. So just to give kind of a little bit of an explanation, because one thing that I'm, again, not to reiterate, but I think anybody coming into the space right now, how can you educate them? And it's not about pushing anybody to like buy something. That it's like, hey, you know, this chain's going to offer this. This is how you interact. This is how you cross a bridge. And I also was thinking like, man, for anybody that's new within the space, are they going to go through the same efforts that we did over the past several years to get airdrops, to participate in certain ecosystems? That's the question. But here's Ben Jordan on Silo.
That was really the epiphany for Silo. Like if we could apply that, if we could be the solve for that data problem, then now it's not just about an individual's comms, it's actually about data for the metaverse, or the data layer for the metaverse, which is now what Silo has evolved into. And when you think about data, what we're really talking about here is any and all data that can be associated to anything in the metaverse, whether that be people or whether that be assets that live in the metaverse. There needs to be protocol and a network and an agreed way to draw on any kind of data that an experience or user might need. And if you can do that in a way that is decentralized and not reliant on one kind of all-seeing party, then you're solving the walled garden problem for the metaverse, which is really in essence what needs to happen for the metaverse to be open. So that was the thinking. That's how the whole story evolved, and that's where we are now. We're the data layer for the open metaverse, and you know it's a really important part to enable the breaking down of the walled garden piece.
Peckham, I see your posts every day. I don't like every single one of them just because, you know, you can't give out 2 likes too freely. But listen, we need more of that Silo conversation, Mr. Peckham. Justin, Barstool founder Dave Portnoy admits he sold XRP 2 weeks ago. And XRP is up 18% and reached all-time high. So this is like sort of the thing where somebody told him like, hey, this is maybe suddenly bad for X, Y, and Z reason. He listens to it, going back to careful about who you trust on your sources, and then Coin Bureau saying XRP won't see $3 anytime soon. And this was not even a month ago that they posted that. So again, this isn't about people being right or wrong, but it's like when the market goes up, generally speaking, it seems that everything's getting a little bit of a lift off with that. My brother-in-law called me to ask what I thought about XRP, and that's another thing to forget that people forget too. You have no idea how many individuals are fans of XRP. They get into the space, and for whatever reason, XRP is like the go-to coin for them, and I don't see why the hell that would happen or not be the case anytime soon, because again, all-time high. Anybody at the Bob 4 is like, this is phenomenal. Why NVIDIA still looks like a bargain at a $4 trillion market cap. Let me repeat that. Why NVIDIA still looks like a bargain at a $4 trillion market cap. Now that's a stock, right? But then when you go over to the entire crypto market cap, it just hit a new time high of 4 trillion. So NVIDIA as a single company is 4 trillion. The entirety of Web3 is at 4 trillion. Do we say one's overvalued? Do we say one's undervalued? Do we say they're on par? How do you compare and contrast? That's your little bit of a zinger for the day, though. I'm stuck at a small ape. Sorry. Well, I don't know why I said stuck. I'm just a small ape stuck in the clubhouse bathroom. This is the bathroom blitz game that's coming out from Yuga within Other Side, or at least part of the experience. Curious to see what happens. Kind of funny seeing a toothbrush within here. Toothpaste, excuse me. Back to the conversation around the Ethereum name service names. The 3-digit club. We looked at the 4-digit before. 3-digit. Look at this, $16,000, $14,000, $11,000, $3,000. That was a WETH offer, but $15,000, $11,000, $12,000. People are paying astronomical amounts. Ethereum back up in price. Everybody suddenly wants to get different things relating to it. Funny what price does. We're currently sitting at around 2 million monthly active users, says Wob, regarding Sappy Seals over in Roblox. This is sort of something that we saw a while ago where a lot of collections said we're going to do something in Roblox, but then almost nobody actually launched anything, or it was extraordinarily short-lived if they did. But if they got 2 million players here, rocking and rolling, very cool to see that Sappy Seals is doing that. And I think different collections are going to find niches within their own realm. Where obviously we look at Pudgy and would say, okay, they've gotten the merch down, right? I don't know if we can say any particular brand within Web3 has done, or been like the face of Roblox in terms of content or anything under the sun regarding that. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then Sergito here from Meebits, nice robot trade for 10 ETH. I thought he said only for 10 ETH. Imagine saying only for something that's $36,000. But one of the robots from Meebits, if you're curious to hear about Sergito, his story behind everything, I did recently do an interview with him. That's for the RWA Segments podcast, though, so you'll need to go down and check out the link in the description below on YouTube, or if you follow me on X, you'll be able to check it there or type it in on any podcasting platform. But we go in on a whole bunch of different discussions for it, and one of his big conversing points after we finished the recording, because we stayed talking for a little bit just about the industry, as he was like, we're not really like making royalties on any of this stuff, but this is like massively historic. And Larva Labs, they're done, right? Like they sold half their stuff off to Yuga. They're not doing anything in the space. People are trying to say, oh, they're doing something this or that and just trying to pump their own bags, but his thing was like, these are historical artifacts. So if you care about history, care about all that kind of jazz, again, the conversation with Sergito was absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, I don't think we have had any negativity so far. And this is the final thing that we're going to go over. CyberKongz now jumping in on the Telegram change, where everybody now is doing stickers, or at least any notable brand within Web3 is going over to Ton and launching these Telegram stickers. Curious to see what happens. It feels like that trend was like a week or two ago. Not that these won't sell out by any means, but it feels like that kind of has come and gone. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. A little bit shorter one here, a little bit later in the day, but I appreciate you guys so much for coming on through. I hope you have a phenomenal weekend, and I'll catch you on Monday. Peace.